Good morning. Today is the 40th day of Easter, which means that it is Ascension Day. Today is Thursday, May 21st. And for this year, it is the day that Christians around the world observe as the day that Jesus ascended into heaven. At the end of his post-resurrection appearances to the disciples and his friends. It's a day that we remember that he gathered his disciples together and gave them some final instructions and told them to wait, to stay until something marvelous happened to them, something powerful happened to them, something that would happen to them that would set the world on fire with justice and faith and grace. Here in North America, we do not really set this Thursday aside to celebrate this event. But throughout the rest of the world, there are places where this is a holiday, where this is an important day to remember. My first experience of celebrating Ascension Day was when I was 19 years old, and I happened to be in Oxford, England. My college choir was singing its way across Europe, and that day we were in Oxford. And none of us woke up that morning knowing that it was Ascension Day, but as we went through the town of Oxford, we saw something really unusual. We saw parish priests out with sticks, beating the side of the road, beating cornerstones, beating as they walked along. And we discovered that this was called beating the bounds and that it took place around Ascension Day. I'm not sure really what it had to do with the ascension of Jesus, but it was something that corresponded to that day. And it was something that was taken very important and very seriously, so that there would be members of parish churches that would follow their priest around. And we observed that. We even got in on the action as we followed a parish priest around as he was beating out the bounds of his parish as a way of blessing it and as a way of letting his parishioners know that these were their folks. These were their people. These were the ones that they needed to pay attention to and care for. Today, I wanted to come to you and lift up this day, this Ascension Day, and I'm going to read to you the passage from Luke that explains what happened, that tells us about what happened, and then I'm going to read to you a blessing that was written by Jan Richardson, who is a United Methodist pastor, but is best known for her artistry and her poetry. Now, I confess that as a poet, I've never been inspired to write a poem about Ascension Day. But this poem inspires me to think about what it is that Jesus asked us to stay for. So, here are these words from the Gospel of Luke. Then he said to them, "These are my words that I spoke to you while I was still with you, that everything written about me in the law of Moses, the prophets, and the Psalms must be fulfilled." Then he opened their minds to understand the scriptures. And he said to them, "Thus it is written, that the Messiah is to suffer and to rise from the dead on the third day, and that repentance and forgiveness for sins is to be proclaimed in his name to all nations, beginning from Jerusalem. You are my witnesses of these things, and see, I am sending upon you what my Father promised. So stay here in the city until you have been clothed with power from on high." Then he led them out as far as Bethany, and lifting up his hands, he blessed them. While he was blessing them, he withdrew from them and was carried up into heaven. And they worshiped him and returned to Jerusalem with great joy. And they were continually in the temple, blessing God. And now hear these words written by a great poet, Jan Richardson. The poem is called Stay, a Blessing for Ascension Day. I know how your mind rushes ahead trying to fathom what could follow this. What will you do? Where will you go? How will you live? You will want to outrun the grief. You will want to keep turning toward the horizon, watching for what was lost to come back, to return to you, and never leave again. For now, hear me when I say, all you need to do is to still yourself, is to turn toward one another, is to stay. Wait and see what comes to fill the gaping hole in your chest. Wait with your hands open to receive what could never come except to what is empty and hollow. You cannot know it now, cannot even imagine what lies ahead. But I tell you, the day is coming when breath will fill your lungs as it never has before. And with your own ears, you will hear words coming to you new and startling. You will dream dreams, and you will see the world ablaze with blessing. Stay. Wait for it. Still yourself. Stay. I hope this day is a good day filled with peace for all of you. I hope this day is a day filled with blessing. And I hope this day that you can feel the presence of the Holy One all around you, telling you to stay for something better, for something exciting, for something full of grace and power and love and justice is coming.